Hello guys, it's me FireKiller, and in today's video I will be ranking every Toujama season by the elimination order. By the way, this is one of the very first videos on my channel where I will use a tier list, aka I won't use the usual editing style, but instead I'll use a tier list and talk. Hope you enjoy it, and now let's get right into it. So it first begins with Island, the timeless classic. I love this season and I think I'm gonna put it in good. This season was awesome, but when it comes down to elimination order, I'm just not sure this season was the best at this. Don't get me wrong, some eliminations were really good, like Heather's, her elimination was so funny, but others felt kinda weird and also sad. One of the saddest elimination to me is definitely Lindsay's. I know that her elimination was pretty interesting, but at the same time, it was sad that Heather betrayed her and stuff like that. I just think that it was sad, that's it. And other eliminations like Taylor's just felt so forced. For real, he didn't even fail his team, he did what he needed to do, he faced the chickens, but at the same time he got eliminated because of Courtney's plot armor. That wasn't fair. Courtney's elimination also wasn't fair, but it was kinda satisfying considering that Duncan bullied her out. I understand. Some eliminations were good, but others felt not so good, that's it. But overall, I feel like this season was really good and the elimination order was decent for the most part. And I feel like some characters were also pretty well developed. Like, Owen being a finalist wasn't really the greatest idea, but he's such a nice guy and deserved to win a season for once. And Gwen, she was also great. This season was perfectly made. Well, not perfectly, but it was still good. Anyway, now we have Toujama action. And similar to Island, I think I'm gonna put it in the good tier, yep. This season wasn't bad and I like it as well, and I think that action is an overhated season. It wasn't really that bad, I think people hate it just because it wasn't what they expected. But other than that, this season was good. Even though Courtney had her annoying moments and some characters felt forced to be bad like Trent, Trent was one of the most controversial characters in this season, because, he went sim for Gwen and started to throw challenges, and that kinda made him look like a fool. He was funny, but at the same time it was sad to watch. Yeah. But one elimination in this season that was really bad was definitely Lindsay's, just like in Island, but in action it was much worse. She got such a great development in this season, before that she wasn't really that amazing, but in this season she truly shined, and then she got eliminated in 6th spot just to give the other characters more plot armor. Another elimination that I hate was Harold's. He killed Duncan's spider and then he got eliminated for that, also because he suspected that Owen was a spy, which was true by the way, and then he just got eliminated for no reason actually, other than being nerd, let's say. But as a whole, the elimination order of the season was pretty decent and I liked some eliminations. And also the first half of the season was kinda perfect in elimination order because the early eliminations were pretty interesting, even though some of them felt weird, like Izzy's second elimination, but I still like it. Okay, now let's see. Next up we have World Tour, and yeah. What can I say, World Tour was amazing season, probably as good as Island, but when it comes down to elimination order, I don't think that this season did the best job at that. The early eliminations were interesting, but others, probably in the middle, were kind of bad. So for right now, I think I'm gonna put it in the decent tier, just because the season had a lot of eliminations that were pretty unsatisfying. The biggest for me are Noah and Tyler says. These characters were so underused. Tyler, he just was so interesting in this season and his relationship with Lindsay was so good, and Noah, he was getting better and better, but then both of them got eliminated basically at the same time just to give the other characters more plot armor. Yeah. For example, Owen made it to the merge for third time in a row. I know that he's the producer's favorite character, but Owen making it to the merge for third time just felt so out of place. I understand, I like Owen, but he's the producer's pet, that's it. And other eliminations like Gwen's were funny, that's true, and Courtney and Blindly got eliminated in double elimination, and that was interesting to me, but at the same time it was kinda, I don't know, but I feel like it was a cheap way to get a rip of both characters at the same time because they were annoying for the others. And also Duncan made it super fair once again, which wasn't bad I guess, but it was unsatisfying for the most part, because just like Owen, he's the writer's pet, they does so much with him, but other characters like Alejandro and Heather were so interesting to watch and I love them, they were great, and their relationship by the end and the final, everything was great. Sierra and Cody were also interesting and I like them, that's it. So enough with World Tour, now let's move on. Then we have Revenge of the Island, one of my favorite seasons and it's very underrated. And for the elimination order, to be honest here, I think that okay, the original seasons were good, but a problem with them is that they didn't give their characters enough development, while in Revenge of the Island, because this season has the smallest cast, I think that the season gave its characters the best development that they could have got at their own right, and because of this I think I'm gonna put it in the good tier. But yeah, I'm also gonna put it in the great tier. I know that seems unfair because these seasons are literally timeless classics, and this season that was kind of controversial when it came out. What can I say? I just say that the elimination order of Revenge of the Island was pretty good, even though some characters like Bee and Dawn were super underused and others like Sam were kind of there for no reason. The season itself as an elimination order was done pretty well. I also love the final between Lightning and Cameron, because those two characters like being Brain and Braun were so interesting final and I love it. Not because they're both males and I'm male, but because the final itself was so interesting to watch. And I really love Scott as the main villain, he's one of my favorite villains. So yeah, I think that as an elimination order the season was good. Anyway, now let's move on to All-Stars. Okay, I'm gonna honest be with you here, I feel like All-Stars is a overhated season. It's not like it was perfect and it's actually pretty far from that, but because the season itself actually wasn't really that bad. And it had some parts that I liked, like I like Mal because he was pure evil, and some other characters like, for example, Cameron were interesting to watch, but at the same time the season was struggling a lot, especially with Courtney and Gwen. Their friendship was sweet and then got out, and some characters like Zoe were dumped out for no reason, but at the same time I feel like this season wasn't really that bad. But when it comes down to elimination order, I need to be honest, the elimination order of the season wasn't really that good. So I think I'm gonna put it in the bad category. Sorry, but the elimination order of the season was kinda unsatisfying, even though some eliminations were funny like Lightning says, but others really felt out of place, like let's say like Sierra's. I didn't expect Sierra to reach the merge of course, but she literally got eliminated like for no reason, like literally no reason, by the villains because she liked Cameron I guess, but that didn't feel right. And also some characters like Heather were dumped down for no reason as well, like I understand that she didn't need to reach the merge as well, but she got eliminated because she lost her idol for no reason other than Alejandro getting the plot armor. I don't say that this is bad, but at the same time it was unsatisfying to see her go for this reason. Giving her other reason would have been cooler, but no, instead she just got out. Anyway, I just feel like the elimination order of the season wasn't really good, and also some eliminations like Duncan says and Gwen says and Courtney says, those three were literally the love triangle of World Tour in this season, and their eliminations were literally caused by very weird reasons. And again, I hate that Gwen and Curtis' friendship was ruined by the end, that's it. And also Sam, I don't hate Sam, but as a character he was pretty useless in this season and basically existed to fill spot that could have been pretty well fit by Brick, Dawn, or even B. Or Anne-Marie, I guess, but yeah, I just feel like he wasn't so useful at all, that's it. The season wasn't entirely bad, but I'm not sure it was the best of it, and the elimination order kind of sucked, that's it. So yeah, anyway, then we have Pakatu Island, and another season that I find as kind of overhated just because it had some good parts, but they were extremely overshadowed by the bad parts. The biggest bad part of this season to me is, I guess, the cast, because the cast of this season was filled with characters that were weird or useless. Like, the characters in this season were really weird, and yeah. Some characters were still good, like Sean, Jasmine, and you know who, Sammy, because I love her so much. They were good, but unfortunately that wasn't enough to save the season, and I don't know. I think that by the elimination order standards, I'll put this season in the bad category because some eliminations in this season were so unsatisfying. For example, some characters like Sugar, who were awful, reached the merge and made it so far for no reason other than just being, you know, the writers' pets, and some other characters like Sammy, Ella, or even Beardo were eliminated early despite that they had potential. I can't believe that I mentioned Beardo as well. But also, you know, some characters like Dave and Sky, because their love plotline basically took over the season, which wasn't really good in my opinion. I don't hate their relationship, but their relationship was executed in probably the worst way possible, because it was ridiculous and kind of awkward. Using Dave and Sky as an example of how relationships work should be illegal by any laws. But anyway, the elimination order of the season just wasn't really good, because some characters who were awful made it super far, while others just who were eliminated early despite that they had potential, and I didn't like that. But anyway, yeah, I don't hate the elimination order, but just like All Stars, it was pretty miscomputed. What does that even mean? I don't know, let's move on. But I'm gonna get a rip of the awful tier because I don't believe any season is bad enemies. Now we have the Redonkulous Race, super underrated spin-off, and as an elimination order it's... I will say it was decent, yeah. Some eliminations were interesting, like for example... Wait, let's think... Let's say that some eliminations like the Twinses were interesting because I feel like they were kind of underrated characters and I was interested in watching them, but other eliminations like the Geniuses or the fashion bloggers just felt kind of forced, considering that they actually had potential but then got out for no reason. Actually they had reasons, but at the same time they felt like they could have filled the spot of better plotlines, but at the same time they didn't really suit the season at all, that's it. And also I dislike the fact that the sisters got eliminated before they could reach the final, because they were one of my favorite teams and Noah and Emma were such a good couple, but they got eliminated in very awkward ways and I wish they reached the final, but that didn't happen. And by the way, I don't think I like the ice dancers because they're such a cheaters. I know that, but I hated the way that they cheated and they hurt the others and they acted annoying. They were interesting as villains, but at the same time they were annoying to me. Sorry, but I'm this kind of person. As a whole, the elimination order of the season wasn't bad. There were interesting eliminations like the mother and daughter says and the father and son says, but at the same time they felt not so interesting. But as a whole, I would say the elimination order of the season was decent, that's it. Anyway, we finally reached the reboots. Now we have Reboot Season 1. And season 1, I think I'm gonna put it in the good tier, because when the season came out, it was so excited and hyped up to watch it, because this was the very first original ToJama season in like 10 years or 9, but it was a super long wait. We still got Dramarama, which I don't hate, but I don't really care for, and I would say it shouldn't exist, because it was such a weird spin-off about kids and it felt out of place. But the reboot, on the other hand, was so interesting, and I feel like for the elimination order, the season had a very interesting eliminations, like, for example, Chase's, because, you know, his relationship with Emma was so good. What did I say? It wasn't good, it was bad. Those two have nothing to do with each other, and it's a miracle that they even became a couple in first place, because Chase is such a crazy guy and Emma is such a nice girl, and seeing them as a couple didn't feel right. But Emma's elimination was kind of sad considering that she had potential, but without Chase she was kinda a standalone character, which wasn't bad, but it was against her personality. And also I love that Rhea reached the final, because she's my favorite character of the reboot and she's an interesting as well, and I like her friendship with Melly. Also, Gwen and Rush getting eliminated in double elimination was interesting to watch, because they're like bros and hockey bros as well, but the eliminations, they were good. I also like Julia and Bowie as the main villains. Those two characters, how can you not love them? They are so rude and good. They are mean, which makes them likable. This is how you're making a evil character likable. I think that. Anyway, this is all I have to say for this season for now, and now we're getting the final season of ToJama. Well, I really hope there to be a season 3, but so far season 2 of the reboot remains last. Please, I really want season 3 to happen. The elimination order of season 2. Okay, I think I'm gonna put it in the great tier. I know this seems kind of insane, but the elimination order of season 2, I just feel like it was done a little bit better than season 1. Why? Because some characters like Nichelle and Axel, who were underused in the first season, got a development. Others like Reaper, even though I hate him, were funny to watch, but his relationship with Axel really ruined both characters for me. Priya and Caleb, their relationship existed, but I'm not sure I liked it that much, because, you know, those two were kind of... Those two like Death and Sky, but at the same time they... What can I say, they were just... Their relationship wasn't done so well and basically took over the season. They acted like Death and Sky, but in a slightly less worse way, but also in a not very good way. I don't hate the elimination order, but... What did I even say? I love the elimination order because it was interesting and good. Even though some characters like Emma, I feel like they left way too early, but they already got development in the 4th season, so I don't mind it. Wayne was kind of a random pick to win for me, but I still like him. Damon's elimination was sad to me, as were MK's, but I really like them. Their characters got so much development, and Caleb... I am glad he got a development at its own right, but at the same time it was kind of overshadowed by Priya. I don't say this is bad, but it was kind of unsatisfying. But the elimination order of this season just... I feel like it was done better than season 1, that's it. And I think it was great. So yeah, this is my ranking on every ToJama season by the elimination order. If you would like to watch more tier list videos, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for everything and goodbye.